Happy Friday, everybody. The squad's back together for the first time in over a week. Petey, Craig, Leah. I hate talking about myself in the third person. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I already introduced us. Don't have to do that. Sean's here too. The whole squad's here.
Yeah, things deteriorate a little bit while you were.
Yeah, we talked about that with you being gone. It was like parents being and leaving the teenage kids in charge. Oh, we can handle it. We can.
Now I understand why I sit in the middle.
We fought. We broke.
That's
things,
why.
we left a mess.
That's why I sit in the middle to separate the two of you.
Yep.
And I will say this, Leah, in that very discussion, and we're going to rewind a little bit. Craig brought up a very famous scene where the parents left the teenage kids and the Fabergé egg. Do you have any idea what this? The Fabergé egg. No. It was a very, very popular movie where the teens were left in charge.
I think I know what a Fabergé egg is, but I don't know anything about
movie reference in the 80s?
Yeah, I don't know the reference.
Okay. No, I got nothing.
Can
you reveal?
No, Google it.
Someone in the chat say it,
It's a very
please.
good. Rebecca De Mornay. Wow. Enough said.
Wow, the chat is hype. I love it.
Cruiser.
We're all greeting each other.
Okay, that's Friday.
Yeah.
So welcome Leah back, because it is not the same without you. It is absolutely not. We can't stay on task or stay on the rails.
Well, that's fine because today's going to be pretty off the rails. If I do say so myself. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Listen, yeah, we've been. You guys have been talking about the playoffs, which we will spend a few minutes talking about because there's some interesting things out there. We had Mayor Hallman and Mayor Giuliano on our show yesterday, which if you haven't watched, go back and watch. The most mic drops in the history of PHNX. Just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. Hugh Hallman brought his entire file cabinet.
Should that not have been just the entire commercial plan for the Coyotes? Just replay that show over and over again?
Seriously.
They should.
Seriously. It was
anything you need to know is there.
So, we got the vote coming up. We have the draft lottery coming up. We don't want to talk about any of that today because we've talked about it enough. And frankly, I came back, I wanted to tell some stories from my trip. So this is going to be the first Friday Funday show of the off season. You'll see a few of these along the way because it's fun to get off the rails and it's fun to sometimes not talk about hockey, but we will to start because the playoffs have been very interesting. A lot of changing of the tides. We saw New Jersey storm back and take a 3-2 series lead.
Who picked the Devils?
Over the Rangers.
Oh, that would be
well, they're not out yet, so relax. Kraken currently, they could eliminate the defending Stanley Cup champs Colorado tonight. There's just a lot of interesting things going on, but we'll just zero in on a couple of them, and we'll start with the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, who are now 0-1 since I left Toronto. They were 2-0 while I was there. I think I might have to go back.
What's the record in potential clinching games since they last won a series, Leah?
0% winning rate.
Yeah, we're unclear, and I'm sorry for our research department. It's either 11 straight clinching game or it's 13. It might be just 11
that they've lost.
Might be 13 or 11. At least 11. So anyway, let's say this:
your
don't clinch.
network ran 13 last night. So.
I thought it was 13 too. That's why I said 13 because I thought it was. But I did hear Leah had to escape the country under the cloak of darkness. And with the disguise, because the Maple Leaf loyal did not want her to leave after the 2-0 record with her.
What can I say?
Yeah, and they had an ingenious plan for getting her out. You should have heard about the Uber ride.
Oh yeah, I'll get to that later in the show.
Wrong way on the freeway,
I was texting him and Sean about it. Sorry to leave you out.
No, that's fine. I wouldn't have opened it anyway.
But we have this amazing tweet that we're gonna show right now. Somebody tweeted this. I will give them credit. Cameron Fry on Twitter did some math. If you bet against the Leafs in every closeout game since 2013, so starting in 2013, if you bet $100 against the Leafs, and then you kept flipping your winnings every year, you would have won $345,000.
Wow! Off your $100.
Off your original 100 in 2013.
So, having said that, their game tomorrow is another series clinching win. Are they going to lose again?
If they lose in Tampa, they're losing.
Can you imagine if they lose in Tampa and you have to go back to Toronto for Game 7 again, where they lost last time in Game 7 to Tampa? Can you imagine how tight that locker room would be?
How about the entire arena? The entire
the anxiety of that arena, the city, Kyle Dubas. Good grief. That is, if they don't get out of this first round, Dubas is gone, isn't he? They have to change that.
I think so, but there are people saying no. He's safe. I don't get it. You
Wow.
gotta win a playoff series. You can't have
How do you?
this kind
How
of
can
talent
you?
and
How
never
can they
win.
not win?
And I know they've had ridiculously tough paths. They have in the playoff format we've talked about. It sucks who they've had to go through, but you gotta win a series. You can't just say, "Well, the path was too tough."
But this isn't. This is not the Tampa Bay Lightning that won the Stanley Cup back years.
Vasilevsky has not looked himself.
He's not been great.
In this last game.
I didn't see the last game.
The last game.
Working.
Have
Fire?
you seen Vasilevsky's record when his team is facing elimination?
Yeah, he doesn't lose.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is lights
I will
out.
say-
There was that shoulder save he made that was absurd. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, Toronto, I mean, Mitch Marner hit the post in the final minutes. They were ballsy and pulled the goalie to make it 3-2 in the final. They made it interesting. Like, the games that they came back and won, like, I don't even think they deserve to win necessarily.
Yeah, this series could be over.
100% could.
Other than their comebacks in Tampa, this could have been done, and they're sitting in home golfing again.
But
I still
the
keep thinking
bottom
they're going to
line
get
is
through.
they're going to lose without me there. Sorry,
I still
Toronto.
keep thinking they're getting through. I still keep thinking Toronto's going to find a way to get through this season. And if they don't this season, what do you do? What do you do?
You
if you're
can't
that
just run
franchise?
it back again. You can't run it back again. And they did so much at the deadline, too. All the moves that they
Yes.
made at the deadline. If you don't get out of the first round,
There's no future for this team now because they've got no assets
it's in your
stacked.
head,
in
too.
your head.
It's in your head.
Well,
at
get
some
it.
point, it just becomes we can't get over the
Hey,
hump. We don't even
Austin,
believe it.
there's no pressure here.
Yep,
if
no
you
pressure
want,
here.
If you
One more
want.
year. Hey, just, I had a thought for you, Austin Matthews. I just want to throw this out since I know you're listening. I know you got a contract situation coming up in another year, and I know it's not ideal that you'd have to play 2 seasons at the mullet if you came out here right away. So have you thought about just maybe signing a 1 or 2 year extension? And then
Perfect.
just coming out when
A
2
bridge,
years.
a bridge deal, but
bridge deal.
it's bridging to coming here.
Right.
You signed a 5-year deal. You broke the mold then, so why
Yes.
not break it again? And
A 2-year
get yourself
deal.
to Arizona.
A 2-year deal bridges it to the TED. Love it. Let's do it.
Do it.
There it is. There it is, Austin.
And I think we should make that agreement with Toronto. Like, okay, you can have him for a couple more years.
Mhm.
There it is. You've got him. We won't even talk
He'll
about
be
it.
well rested because there won't be any
Yes.
deep playoff runs.
Exactly.
Yep.
They gotta win.
I will say we've been gifted some entertaining games and series in this first round. There were no sweeps, which I feel like usually there's one. So it's been really cool to see, and we finally just had our first series win. Vegas defeating the Winnipeg Jets, and I mean, Winnipeg, they already barely made it into the playoffs to begin with. They were plagued by injury after injury after injury, but they lose to Vegas in 5 games, and head coach Rick Bowness was not happy with
Not
his
thrilled.
team. This was Rick Bowness after last night's loss.
Overall thoughts on that one? What do you think?
Overall thoughts, I'm so disappointed and disgusted right now. That's my thoughts.
Where does the disgust come from?
Pardon me?
Where does the disgust come from?
No pushback. But it's the same crap we saw in February. It was. That's why so as soon as we were challenging for first place and teams were coming after us, we had no pushback. This series, we had no pushback. Their better players were so much better than ours, it's not even close.
Feels like you've been holding these feelings on for a bit. Is it just
Yep.
out of tonight's game, or finally wanted to release that?
It started back in January and February.
What is it about this team's leadership core or the top end players? We've talked all.
We got to push back. There's got to be a pushback. There's got to be pride. You got to be able to push back when things aren't going your way. We had no pushback. Their better players were so much better than ours tonight. They deserved to win. They were the better team in the regular season. They were the better team in this series. Anything else? Good. Thanks.
Wow, and I think you see the frustration from Coach Bowness. And he's the guy that's been here in the Valley. I'm a huge fan and supporter of Rick Bowness. And sorry, Bones, I'm sure you're listening. You could be sitting on the golf course right now with the mimosa. Well, you might be now anyway. But you could have done that all season and saved yourself the headache. This was a tough situation for him to walk into from day one when they stripped the captaincy from Blake Wheeler, and you knew there was problems in their top end and their leadership in that room, and it did not change throughout the year. And they had no chance in this playoff series because their top players just weren't top players. And I think until you purge that group out of the locker room, this is what you're going to get in Winnipeg.
That's the thing. I mean, he didn't name names, but he called out their best players, and we all know who those players are. So it's no mystery who he's talking about in these situations. You're talking about Blake Wheeler, who should have been a Coyote long ago. Mark Scheifele. You're talking about a bunch of players.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens with Connor Hellebuck if he's going to want to re-up with this franchise, because when you hear what he's saying and you see the trajectory of this franchise, they got to blow it up. This team is not going to do anything moving forward. There's no tweaks that are going to make the Winnipeg Jets a playoff contender, or a team that can make a run in the playoffs. There's just nothing you can do. This is an aging roster as well. There are some key players that are aging. You need to make wholesale changes. I feel badly for Bones, but we all wondered what he was doing. He's 68 years old. We thought he was going to retire, and then he goes take the Winnipeg job of all jobs. Beyond that, I look at this franchise. Like hockey went back to Winnipeg, and I'm happy for the Jets fans. I know a lot of Coyotes fans are not, because Winnipeg Jet fans were pretty obnoxious for a while about the Coyotes, but they lost their team, so you get it. It hurts. It hurts. They got their team back, but since they came back into the league in 2011-12, what happened that same year with the Coyotes, Petey? He's not listening. They went to the Western Conference Finals.
Went to the conference finals.
So Winnipeg's first year back, and there was so much talk about this group of players and how much potential and how exciting this team was. The Jets have won 3 playoff series since they went back to Winnipeg, same as the Coyotes. 3 postseason series. Mm-hmm. They haven't achieved much in Winnipeg, and now there's issues with attendance. There's a whole lot of issues.
They were begging. They put out a very coded message, hey, we need you to buy tickets. We're all in this together. We love the community, but we need you to buy tickets. That was very telling to me.
Right. It was not getting nearly as much coverage as another team that's struggling. But yeah, they're struggling up there in many ways. And what happens now if you blow up the Winnipeg Jets and they go into a rebuild? Can that team survive in that market where if you don't have attendance? I don't know what you have in Winnipeg, because you certainly don't have the corporate opportunities that you have in other markets.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, because I went back, and I'm sorry as I'm not paying attention to, but I rarely do anyway. But I was looking at a Hockey News cover from years ago, and it was from 2017, and it said, meet your 2019 Stanley Cup champion.
I remember that.
Winnipeg Jets.
I remember that.
And then you go, really? And then all of a sudden by 2019, you're going, holy cow, this team's really good. And they're fast, and they're heavy, and Hellebuck is great. Wow, this team's really good. The window's closed. It's done. It is time to blow it up. I know they tried one last gasp, and that's why they brought Rick Bowness in, to make one last gasp to try to get over the hump. You can't blow it up. They're done, and they're starting over. And that's just too bad that this team could not do anything in the playoffs with the roster that they had and the big talent that they had. And time to start over in Winnipeg. To your point, hard damn city to start over in, because you better draft incredibly well. Because if you've got a chance to go to play in Arizona or Winnipeg, no offense to Winnipeg, the arena is great. The fan base is absolutely incredible in Winnipeg. The building is fun to go to, but it is not the same experience in that town that it is in a lot of other NHL cities.
It is simply not desirable for players. You look at the player polls that get done every year. Winnipeg is the least favorite city in the NHL every year. That's tough to hear, but it's the truth. And yeah, if you go into a rebuild, but Rick Bowness was getting at something that a lot of people suspected was going on with this team all along. They have a leadership issue. They've got problems in their dressing room. You got to blow this up now. I don't know how you come back with the same group of players. And listen, Blake Wheeler is clearly a part of it. Nobody's saying it out loud. Blake Wheeler is clearly a problem with that culture there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that this will be a very interesting offseason for the Winnipeg Jets to see how they move forward with this. Before we move on from hockey talk, any other notes from the playoffs that you guys want to get in before we get off the rails?
There's 7 series that are going to a game 6. 7 of them.
That's amazing.
I
love it. We're so lucky.
Yep. And I tell you what, there are some really good teams that better start playing better hockey or they're going to be home. And that includes the defending Stanley Cup champion, Colorado Avalanche. Because Seattle, I don't give a shit if there should have been a tripping penalty on McKinnon. I'm so tired about hearing that. It was one little play. By the way, their feet bumped. It was no way intentional. And by him not getting back into the play and him sitting there crying, he's late to change for Comfer. Comfer doesn't able to catch up on the game-winning goal by Cartier because he's sitting there complaining. You are not as good as that Seattle team is right now, period. Seattle is better. Rangers say the same thing. Their feet, they're skating in freaking quicksand right now.
Oh my God, are they? It's crazy.
It's
watching
17 and
that series
18-year-old kids against 50-year-old men. It's not even close.
That's what it feels like. The tables have completely turned in that
Absolutely.
series. New Jersey completely outclassed.
And I don't say that in a Boston-Florida series because I think it's a turnover by the goalie that makes that game extended. I still think Boston's the better team. So we're not seeing what we're seeing from Seattle and New Jersey. There's a lot of good hockey left.
Yep. I'm here for all the upsets. I don't care if all my predictions are wrong. Give me an upset every time. And as someone who the Coyotes are not in the playoffs, so I don't have a rooting interest, give me upsets, give me chaos, give me Game 7. Like, I'm here for it. I love it. We are very lucky. And if you are looking for a place to watch all the games, you're thinking, how the heck do I stay on top of this? Sometimes the first round, that's what's the greatest about it, but sometimes you don't know.
There's too many games going on, and they go on at the same time. You need multiple TVs.
I know.
Where can we get multiple TVs?
Fubo TV. I mean, if you're looking for
There you go.
what
That's
channel
how
is
you
it
watch
on?
it.
What channel? They got it. They got it on Fubo.
Fubo.
So make sure you're checking out Fubo. 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. You also have a DVR function on there, 1,000 hours of cloud DVR at no extra charge. So if you want to maybe record one and watch one and then go back and watch the other, you can do that. There's just a ton of stuff on Fubo. The Phoenix Suns playoff run you can watch on there.
Do you watch the NFL draft on there?
100% you
And
can.
then you know what? That becomes not only the name of the channel, it also became Johnny's slogan. F you, Bo. No, is that what that is? F you, Bo? Oh, never mind.
That's good.
I misread that.
That's
Sorry.
good. So you can watch day 2 of the NFL draft and game 1 of the Phoenix Suns on Saturday on ESPN with Fubo TV. Use the link in the description to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. And speaking of Johnny and Bo, they were out at Four Peaks last night. I was watching and I kept seeing the drinks come in and out. And there was a random guy who chugged a beer at the end of their show. Sean was there. Did you enjoy some brews, Sean?
I did. I had the Redbird Lager. I don't know if I had ever had it before.
It's not bad.
I like it a
It's
lot.
good.
It's decent.
It's a darker beer, but
Yeah.
it's a little more crisp
Yeah, exactly.
than you're expecting. It's a lighter,
Exactly.
crisp, darker lager. Not that I've ever tried it.
You're wearing a Four Peaks shirt today.
And this is bothering me. And Four Peaks, I'm sorry. I've got the Friday vibe going. So I did go with the WoW throwback t-shirt because it just brings summer vibes, right? The light
summer
colors.
vibes.
But if you look over my head in the shot is the WoW bus. And it just kind of flows completely
didn't
together.
notice that.
It's like a hat on you.
It looks like a hat. It looks like I'm wearing the Four Peaks WoW hat that flows right into the whole vibe of the shirt.
I love it.
So we needed to. So I'm a little concerned about my fashion choice for that because I'm all wow, but I am all about the wow in the summer and the sun is out. It's 97 degrees.
Yeah, Craig and
Wow,
Craig and Sean and I went for a walk yesterday. We were
We're wowing. I am wowing.
Yeah, who picked that restaurant?
Right after this. I guarantee I'm taking wow.
Oh
today.
yeah, it's
Friday afternoon. Wow vibes.
The weekend.
Fun.
Come on, sign me up. So check out Four Peaks. You can get it wherever you buy your beer, or you can check out the Four Peaks 8th Street Pub. You got to be 21 or older to drink and enjoy responsibly. All right. We have one more piece of business to get to, and then we'll get into all the fun stuff.
Okay.
Big news this morning. The Phoenix Suns will be on Arizona Family's free channel, Channel 44. This is a huge
We think
move.
if Bally doesn't contest it legally.
Well,
There's more lawyers
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Probably.
But it means that the games will be free to watch. It's free to everybody.
Like the old days.
Yep.
That
Antenna.
You guys don't remember.
Yeah. Over the air, antenna, free.
Wow.
Huge
Restaurants
move.
used to be free too, guys. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Huge move
Back in
for
those days when Craig was a kid.
one
it
of
was
the
all
major
free.
4 teams to move to that network, and it makes you wonder how will the other teams in the Valley follow suit, especially the Coyotes and the D-backs, since the Cardinals they're not really part of it because NFL, national, whatever. But you know, Bally bankrupt. I know you guys talked about this earlier in the week when you talked about the offseason checklist, but the Phoenix Suns taking this first step was a big move. Any sense of how this will impact the Coyotes?
It definitely impacts the Coyotes. The Suns leaving Bally means that the Coyotes will not be on Bally. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Now, Bally may fight to keep some teams because it still has them under contract. My understanding is the Coyotes are under contract with Bally for 2 more years. But the Coyotes are not one of those teams that Bally is probably going to fight to keep. They're not a moneymaker, let's be honest. So I think this move that the Suns made is a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen for the Coyotes, but they could go to free TV, at least for some of their games. We could have some sort of service where you could pay for others, select games. But there's also the league component to consider here. The league may take over this entire thing and choose to do something in-house or through another provider. So there's a lot to play out. All I can tell you is once the vote goes down, assuming it goes through, the Tempe vote goes through, this is Javier Gutierrez's next order of business. He's got to get working on this because they have to have it obviously solved when next season starts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We talk about the revenue streams that this brings to the Coyotes. That's going to affect that clearly, and there is a concern for that. On the flip side of that, you're going to expose your product and your game to a lot larger fan base than you've been able to do over the last few years, and the limitations that you've seen through Bally and their streaming services. So, double-edged coin. So we'll see what happens. Is double-edged coin, double-edged swords, two sides of the same coin? I don't know. There's two different things.
Double-edged coin. Love it.
Double-edged coin. So. We'll see how it all plays out, but I do know, keep your eye on that Arizona Family 44.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you might see some other
cool.
things.
I mean, again, you can reach a different market, right? You can
For
reach
sure.
a different
and
demographic.
it's so important with
It is.
growing the game, and especially the whole
long-term.
well, and
Yes.
also the focus of growing hockey in Arizona to maybe communities who
Yes.
aren't as familiar. Like this is something that's gonna help if they end up on free TV, or even if a few of the games do. Like that's only going to grow the game. And I know
Yes.
the Coyotes are in a tough situation because for them, like the Phoenix Suns, they have all the money in the world. It's okay that
And they're winning.
Yeah, and they're winning. Like it's a different situation for the
Yeah.
Coyotes, but I think I'm not a business person. I don't care. Like I'm not invested in the Coyotes business side. So this is me saying it from the fan side. I think it would be really cool to see them on this channel.
Hope so.
So we'll continue to follow along with what this means for the Coyotes. And obviously there's a lot of other stuff coming up in the meantime. What do you say we stop talking about hockey?
I'm good.
All right.
Enough, Uncle.
So I teased this story because, man, this was one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. So I guess this segment can be Tales from the Road. The road in this
The
case
Leah
being
edition?
me last week in Toronto. And one of the
lengths that Toronto went to keep Leah in the city.
True,
for the
right?
Leafs. Here it is.
Well, okay, so Tales from the Road, me in Toronto edition. And this is the umbrella story that I tweeted
I've been
about.
waiting.
People have been asking about. And now is the time. I will tell it. So buckle in. I'm in Toronto, obviously. This is on Monday. And I went for a 5-mile walk. I had like nothing to do that day. I wanted to walk to my old neighborhood, my old house, which I did. And I was so excited about this. I checked the weather forecast beforehand. And I checked the literal radar. You know, it shows the hour by hour. And I thought, I don't think the rain's going to hit me. So I set off. And by the way, it's chilly. I'm wearing a jacket, not one with a hood, not a rain jacket, just a jacket. So I'm walking. I'm about a third of the way through. My friend texted me and said, I should have given you an umbrella before you left. I said, it's fine. Like, it's not raining. Then it starts to drizzle. Drizzle, fine.
Yep.
Fine in a drizzle. Like, I knew I was going to shower after this. Like, I didn't care. I had nowhere to be. I'm in this park. The second I step out of the park, it was like out of a movie. Hail. Just torrential hail. Like, full on. Like, it wasn't, you know, in the movies when, like, it starts raining all of a sudden, you're like, that's not how it starts raining. Like, that's too sudden.
Yeah.
No. That is how it hailed.
Nothing to that.
So I was getting soaked. So I'm running down the street. I see a Shoppers Drug Mart. If you know, you know. I said, let me go in there. Maybe I'll buy an umbrella. Because I wanted nothing to stop me from this walk. Like, I didn't want to have to hole up in a coffee shop or something. Like, I wanted to keep going. So I go in Shoppers and I buy one of those small umbrellas.
Yep.
It's $30.
Oh.
The cheapest umbrella is $30. But I was like, you know what? It's small enough I can take it home. Like, I'm buying this umbrella. So I continue on my walk. Now it's a rain. Using the umbrella for about 10 minutes. It stops raining, of course. So then I go to the bank. So I'm at the bank and I had to go sit in a chair like in the lobby area to fill something out. So I'm there and I had the umbrella next to me on the chair and I said to myself, don't forget the umbrella. Then I leave the bank. I go half a block down the street to the bakery. Cobb's, if you know, you know. So good, by the way. I get there. I order some scones. And then I think, shit, I don't have the umbrella. I left it on the chair, big dummy, whatever. I go back to the bank because I knew exactly where I left the umbrella. The umbrella's not there. So I'm looking on the floor. Then I'm thinking, did I actually take the umbrella to maybe I put it on the counter at the bakery. So now I go back to the bakery. It's not there. I'm asking. And now I'm losing my mind because I've only been in 2 places.
Yes.
Half a block apart. And I go, maybe someone picked it up at the bank and turned it in. So I go back to the bank. We're looking. And then and the funny thing is, and in telling the story yesterday, I think it was Sean who said, like, the funny thing is that it never crossed your mind someone stole it because it's Canada.
Exactly.
And it's true. Like,
First thought, somebody took my damn
No,
umbrella.
it never crossed my mind. And until I went back and forth 4 times.
Yes.
And then I thought, like, someone had to have stolen it because I thought I was losing it. I was like, did the umbrella ever even exist? Like, am I hallucinating? Like,
we have that happen all the time. Yeah,
so,
for a different reason.
so.
But this is not the end of the story.
No,
is
it is not the end. So so then I leave the bank and I call my mom because I call my mom in crisis.
I feel like we should have Twilight Zone music.
I know, right? I call my mom and I'm like, I'm losing my mind. And I'm pissed because, like, forget about losing my mind. I'm pissed because I just spent $30 on an umbrella I used for 10 minutes and then someone stole it. Like,
Bad.
so I'm pissed. And sometimes when I get angry and flustered and frustrated, I cry. That is a fact about me. I get just overwhelmed with emotion. And especially when I talk to my mom sometimes. Sorry, Mom. So I start to cry. Mostly out of frustration than anything. I wasn't like devastated about
The umbrella.
the umbrella
The emotional
itself. It was,
attachment
yes,
was not
yeah.
there yet.
It was a $30
So
umbrella.
it was $30.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there on the phone crying. So this man walks up to me and he's probably in his 60s if I had to guess. He has gray hair, curly gray hair to like his shoulders ish.
Sorry, I know where it's going and I'm really cringing.
I'm crying. He walks up to me. I'm on the phone. He walks up to me and goes, "You're so beautiful." So I just, I'm just like, thank you, whatever. I look at this man and my mom is on the phone. So she hears this entire conversation. I look at this man. He's wearing a red jacket. And in the front pocket of his jacket is my umbrella. And I knew it was because it was a polka dot umbrella that was recognizable. And I look at this man, and because I'm a mess, normally I wouldn't roll like this. I go, "Is that my umbrella?" To this man.
That you don't know.
That I don't know.
Stranger. On the street.
He just walked up to me to tell me I'm beautiful, and I see my umbrella, and I go, "Is that my umbrella?" And he was like, "Oh, is this yours?" And he like pulls it out and hands it to me, and he goes, "I found it on the ground. I've been looking around for the owner." I was like,
on the ground. Okay. You
well,
weren't
a little
stalking me in the
sus.
bank, right?
Very
a
sus.
little suspicious. And then he goes, "I thought you were over here like getting your heart broken or something. Like, are you crying because you lost your umbrella?" And I was like, yes, I guess I was. I was like, I'm just having a moment. And then he goes like this. He grabs my arm like this. And he goes, "You're just so beautiful." I'm still crying, by the way. He had just like returned the umbrella that he found. "You're so beautiful. You're so tall and beautiful." I was like,
on the street.
on the street. After he just, like, this man had to have stolen, like,
Clearly.
it
Saw
was
you,
in the
stole
bank.
your
I
umbrella.
for sure, I left it on the chair in the bank.
Stole the bank. Stole it.
Did he do that as a way to, like, approach me? Also,
I don't know. Was he driving a van?
He put it in his front pocket. Like, he wasn't holding it. It wasn't
This
in
sounds
his
like the
side
opening
pocket.
scene to like a serial
It
killer
does.
movie.
It does. It does.
It was one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to
So,
me.
through all of the creepiness that story had in it, where is the umbrella today?
It's in my house. I brought it back.
give it back to you.
I'm
So
not $30.
it does
I'm
have a
putting it in
happy
my
ending.
suitcase.
Happy
yeah.
ending.
But
Happy ending.
and then I was like afraid that he was gonna keep follow me because
No kidding. Read.
Anyway,
Oh
so
my God, that's awful. And I'm sure that man is listening to this story.
he probably somehow knows who I am.
That sounds
So,
like a Dateline with Keith Morrison. The umbrella.
like one of the weirdest things that's ever happened.
So
and
creepy.
honestly, thank God I got it back because it rained at a different point in the walk, and I
And
needed it again. Just bizarre.
and you know, like in England, they have all the CCTV everywhere. I
Yeah.
bet you in Canada they do too. We could like piece that whole
Yeah,
thing
like-
together.
and-
the cameras at the bakery and the
and
bank.
the best part is, like, my mom was on the phone. Like,
So
I had
she
my
heard
AirPods.
it.
She heard
Heard
me
it.
ask this man. She heard
Is that
what
my
he said
umbrella?
back. So, like, she is a full-on
We have a witness.
Yeah, to this.
That is frightening.
One of
Streets
the,
of Toronto
one
are
of the
unsafe
strangest
anymore.
things that's ever happened
Good
to me.
story though.
Great story.
CSI Toronto.
CSI
CSI
Toronto.
Toronto.
Doo-doo.
That was the
Anyway.
biggest crime of the day in Toronto, by the way. That was it. That was on the crime page, front of the Toronto Star. Crime wave, Toronto.
Man
Umbrella thief.
steals umbrella before returning it 10 minutes later
Yeah.
to tell
Biggest
as
news
a
in
way
Toronto.
to hit on a crying, vulnerable woman.
Terrible.
Weird. Anywho, so that's my
That
umbrella
happened.
story.
That's a great story.
Okay.
My other story is that I flew Air Canada. I would just like to say, if you guys were following us last summer, you know about what Craig and Jacob and I went through to get to Montreal. basically Air Canada screwed us.
Via Minneapolis.
That's the short story. And as a compensation, Air Canada sent us each flight vouchers that I applied to, not your flight voucher, mine.
You got to use it?
I did. This round trip cost me $56
Beautiful.
because of, so it did pay off. It paid off months later, but it paid off.
I'm never flying to Canada again. So.
Can I have your other flight voucher? I only was delayed an hour each way. Could have been a lot worse.
That's where we are these days.
Only an hour each way. Okay.
That's not bad.
So anyway, so everything else on the trip was like good, smooth, fine, fun. So I call an Uber to go to the airport on the day I'm leaving, and it was like 5 o'clock, so it was rush hour. So I gave myself a lot of time.
Sure.
And you know when you call the Uber, it says like drop off by, so you can like see the time.
Right. Sure.
So it's like 4:55, and I call it, and it's like drop off by 5:38. It was like great because I wanted to be there by like 5:50, so a little early. Perfect. So he picks me up, and this man, he's from Turkey. This was from some deductive reasoning that I did. He's from Turkey. We're in the car, and he goes, "Do you mind if I make a phone call?" And I was like, "No problem." Like, I thought it was just a quick phone call.
Sure.
He proceeds to get on the phone for like 20 minutes, speaking in...
While you're driving?
While driving.
Is that legal?
Yeah, it was like...
Speakerphone.
No, it was in his
headphones.
AirPods.
Okay.
Which is fine, whatever. It's a little annoying to hear one side of a phone call in another language, but like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm in downtown Toronto.
Yes.
If you're from Toronto, to get to the airport, you have to go on the 401 West.
Okay.
Like, I know that. I don't even live in Toronto, and I know that. We're about to get on the 401, and he like turns right, which by the way, we're like facing the way. Like downtown is this way, not downtown's this way, and he goes this way, east, toward downtown Toronto. And he goes, "Oh," and he's like on the phone, and then he like turns to me, he's like, "Oh, sorry, I got on the wrong way." I was like, "No shit." The bumper to bumper traffic, rush hour. The time it takes us to get off the highway, get back on, bumper to bumper, like, you know, when you're sitting through like 3 red lights just to make the turn. It adds like 20 minutes. And this is what I'm texting Craig and Sean.
Oh no. So now your anxiety is buzzing.
Yeah, and now you're gonna be late. Now my drop off time says 6:08. The bag, like the deadline to drop off your bags was 6:25. So I like had to get there. Oh my God, I was so mad. And he like finally got off the phone. we finally get back on the right way, like after 20 minutes. And then he goes, "Do you mind if I make another phone call?"
Did you say yes?
I said yes, and then I left him. And then
Leah, now this is where we talk about you and I both do this. Like the answer is, so I've been with some very aggressive people inside Ubers and cabs, and Samuelson and Rick Tockett, like where you're afraid because they will say stuff to the driver while you're moving and driving. You're like, "Oh, geez, like he's driving. You can't say that to him." But here you are. Yeah, that's okay. We're going the wrong way. Oh. Like, yeah, no. Well, get off the damn phone.
He did not get 5 stars. And then, you know, like when you don't get 5 stars, you have to give a reason, and you salute, like you check from the menu. And I put distracted by phone and missed turns.
Oh no.
Nice.
Like,
that's good.
What if you're an Uber driver in Toronto? How do you not know
the way to the airport?
The way to the airport? Like
passive aggressively right there. I like it.
Oh my God.
Did not give you 5 stars.
And the reason I figured out he was Turkish is because like on his thing, you could see the country code on the thing. So I looked it up. It was Turkey.
But you made it.
I did make it.
After all of that, you made it.
I did. And I brought back some snacks.
Oh, well, that's the most important part of the whole trip.
What do we got?
Fuzzy peaches.
Fuzzy peaches are money.
Kinder Surprise.
There is no surprise like a Kinder Surprise.
Sean got his own bag of Fuzzy
Don't they have toys
peaches
inside the Kinder Surprise?
Yeah. Do you guys want to open one and eat it?
Sure. Let's open the Kinder Surprise.
So anyway,
it was
a great trip.
On a Funday Friday.
I appreciate Craig and Petey holding it down while I was gone. But that was my story.
That anxiety, I just couldn't live with it. And for that very reason, I don't leave town unless I have to.
As we know, since you haven't been on a vacation.
We decided it's either 8 or 9 years since I've been on a vacation. That's a long time. Look at that.
Look at it. It's so beautiful.
It's like Easter, but not Easter.
You open it.
So for our audio listeners,
there's a little toy inside.
It's a chocolate egg, hollow chocolate egg with a toy inside.
Who wants to build the toy?
Well, we know it's Craig. Craig wants the toy.
There's some chocolate. Would you like
because it's
chocolate?
Avatar. It's the Avatar version. Did you see Avatar? DP saw Avatar.
I'm eating some.
Yeah, for sure I want some.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Is it? All right.
Oh, it's so good. It tastes like my childhood.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
There's something different, by the way, when we travel Canada. They make their Chocolate different?
Their chocolate's different. It's better.
Different preservatives?
Even Kit Kats, like Kit Kats are better.
They're not allowed to put all the preservatives that we do here in the United States. So their chocolate is much, I don't want to say healthier, but it doesn't have the preservatives, so it tastes better. It is phenomenal. So if you go to Canada, get some chocolate. Craig, did you open the prize yet?
No. You want to open it, Pete?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Somebody's
buddy.
got to open the damn prize. It's an Avatar prize.
Anyway, you guys got any road stories you want to tell before we move on to our last segment? I know
No.
that I took up the stage there, but
No.
I felt like they
It
were
was your
worth,
turn.
No,
it
Pete
was
doesn't
worth
have
a
any road
segment.
stories.
I don't have any road
He
stories.
doesn't go anywhere.
We'll get to some more tales from the road
I'm just going to eat chocolate.
later in the
You
off
keep
season.
talking.
All right, that's fine with
There's
me.
too many directions. It's an Avatar, man.
Well,
Were there sharks in the Avatar?
No, but there were whales that talked to the characters. They were talking
So-
whales.
what is that?
I don't know. Almost, it's
Like a dragon? Like a sea dragon?
I don't know. It's like a shark or something. I don't know.
Why don't you open the instructions?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I just clicked it all together. There you
I'm
go.
a guy.
There's the shark.
I read
I'm a guy.
instructions.
Well,
Exactly.
If you want to come on the road with us
Oh
and
my
have
god.
our own road stories,
Oh my god.
why don't you come to Nashville with us? We're going to Nashville, everyone. June, I think 27th to 29th for the NHL draft in Nashville. We have a ton of super fun events planned. I know some of you have already bought your tickets. It's going to be so much fun. PD has been talking about the bars in Nashville for months. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So we hope to see you there. I know it's a big thing to go on a trip, but we're giving you a couple months to plan, and we hope you join us. And for diehards, you get 20% off on events, so it's a great time to become
Are
a
we
diehard.
going to the actual draft?
Yes,
Like we're going to sit at the actual draft?
we are.
I know we are, but are they going to? We hope so.
I hope so.
Hope so. Okay.
Go.
We'll work on it. We'll
Check
give
out
you
your
more
tickets.
I
details.
think they'd want to be at the draft.
We'll
Or at
get
least
you-
the first day. The
Is it-
second day is kind of brutal.
The information is pinned at the top of our Twitter account, PHNX_Coyotes.
Awesome.
So go
Let's
check it
go.
out. It's going to be so freaking
And
fun.
I
But
need
next time,
some adult
You got
supervision.
a chance to shotgun a can of wine. You've never done
Just
that before.
don't-
I'm certain you've never done
Make
that
sure
before.
you're not on Craig's flight. That's the only thing I'll
Yes.
tell you.
We're driving. You didn't hear?
Laughing says matching cowboy hats.
Yes.
We're in.
I rented a van. We're driving.
Perfect. It's going to break down hour
Buddy,
one.
I need adult supervision in Nashville, like we talk about. Like it's
It's going to be, I know Christina and Joel are coming. I know Karen's coming. It's going to be a ton of fun.
and it is a fantastic city to go visit. And why not visit?
I've
it?
never been to Nashville.
Oh my God.
Either is Sean.
Country Music Hall of Fame,
Right? Oh, you've been
Ryman
there
Theater,
you've been there.
I've been
Ryman Theater, and it's all centrally located to where the draft is actually going to be.
Yep.
And then our
Download.
shows are going to be at Love and Exile.
Yep. So
Yeah, so pumped for this.
All right.
I'm so pumped
it's a
for
great
this.
time to become a diehard, so you can get 20% off on our events. By the way, if you buy tickets, you get a little welcome package with some exclusive merchandise as well that you only get for going on the trip. So lots of fun. It's going to be a blast. We also have a ton of local events. If you can't make it, the Keeping It 100 golf tournament presented by Prince and Aces and Big Drive Energy. That's May 26th. We also have Knockout Nice cornhole tournament at BetMGM. That's the first Friday of every month during the summer. This you're looking at
I know.
this team right here.
And Leah is our coming out of the bullpen pitcher. Like
Yeah.
she is our ringer.
I don't know. I need to practice
Without a
a
doubt.
little.
Leah's the starting pitcher.
Yeah,
pressure's
she's our
on.
ringer. She's
The
our
pressure's
ringer.
on. So become a diehard today. You can check out the PHNX locker to grab your membership to receive exclusive discounts, content, and all events and merch, and access to our Discord chats as well. By the way, Cardinals dropped an amazing new shirt last night.
I know.
So go buy that. Buy it in the phnxlocker.com. It's going to be a lot of fun. And before we move on to Weekend Binge, which by the way, we're actually doing a real Weekend Binge like on a Friday, not
wow, yeah,
a
'cause it's the middle
Monday.
of the week.
when we,
I've watched some good things lately.
yes, I have a lot to say as well. But Illegal Pete's, listen, it's the one thing I miss when I'm in Canada is the Mexican food here in Arizona. And Illegal Pete's queso, I was dreaming about it. So I'm going to go there this weekend. I know I said I was going to go yesterday, but I left during rush hour. Didn't want to drive. But you can go to Illegal Pete's. They're on mail. They have delicious ingredients, customizable options. And if you want to cater Illegal Pete's, you can do that as well. To book your catering order, head to catering.illegalpete's.com. So Illegal Pete's, it's your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer. They also have happy hour 3 to 6 p.m. every day. Amazing margaritas as well. All right. Weekend Binge. It's a real one. Who wants to start? And by
Not
the way,
me.
chat, give us your Weekend Binge recommendations as well. Craig, you go first.
All right. Well,
Can I eat this last piece?
Yeah, of course.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is back. Final season. It's fantastic. Been watching that nonstop. I don't know if you guys are into that show, but We've been watching it since the start, and
never
this is
watched
the
it.
last season. It is spectacular. So that's one rec. Finally started watching Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
Holy shit, it's good. It's
Oh.
really, really good.
Tremendous. I never finished it, but oh my god, tremendous.
So good.
Yes.
Maybe
And then
on my
I have a
summer
movie
list.
rec as well, which I said to you guys earlier, and it's like way out there. Like I'm not even sure it's Bollywood, but it's an Indian movie called RRR. It's like an action movie that like fuses Bollywood and like American westerns, and it's so over the top and so absurd and so much fucking fun. You have to watch this movie.
What is it called?
RRR. Watch it. You will.
Not a
it's
pirate
long.
movie.
It's an epic too. Like, it's like 3 hours long.
Oh,
it's 3 hours long, and I have my youngest cannot sit for like more than a half an hour without like
Okay,
getting
made
a
it
break.
through?
Entire movie. It was that entertaining. It was
Because
a
I'm
blast.
not a 3-hour movie guy.
So much fun. Watch it. That's all I got.
Christina said The Night Agent and The Diplomat. The Night Agent is on my list. I've heard it's
Love it.
amazing. Yeah?
Love it.
Netflix?
Night Agent. Great movie.
Yeah, it's a show.
Or a series.
Yeah.
It's a mini limited series.
Yeah, I love a limited
British
series.
themed. It's really, really good. Diplomat, I want to see. The commercials look great.
You want to go next?
Well, I'm
Diplomat's
gonna
good.
go like I always do, and nobody listen to what I'm gonna say here. I started to watch Love Is Blind. Leah,
I'm getting to him!
My wife put it on, and I'm like, it's a show you hate, but you love to hate it. Like you hate all the people in it, you hate the concept of the show, but then you got to go, oh, what happened to them? Did they get married? Pathetic. I'm pathetic, and I'm so disappointed in myself. Before you know it, I'll be watching Love Island.
Oh,
But when we talk about the
he's almost
UK,
there.
I'm going to give a whole recommendation of a new streaming segment. Again, we talked about Acorn today, or before. Today, it's BritBox. If you want to go and get all of these mystery shows that you like, Perot, Miss Marple, what else did I just have on there? Oh, Murder in Suburbia. BritBox is all these British shows, dramas, comedies, movies, series, absolutely fantastic, of things you haven't seen before, and you can fill up not just your weekend, but the entire summer on BritBox.
I love it. That was
I'm
almost like
imagining
an ad
you
read.
on a show with Kyla, Bill Armstrong's wife.
Oh, I've already
Yeah.
proposed this to her.
Petey, you could be the third on that show.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Love Island
But
UK.
I just know she watches Love Island US. That was the big
be
thing
my
that
day
I
off.
discovered.
And that's how
I will
only got
definitely
one
take that
season,
day
right?
off.
Or is there
No, there's multiple.
multiple? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Sean, do you have any weekend binge?
Well, I'm not going to be watching it because I watched all of it in one day, but I finally got to The Bear. Terrific.
Oh.
And then
Oh, it's still on my list.
and
I'm
season
so
two's
bad.
coming.
season
Season
2
two is
coming.
coming.
Craig,
Rick.
you tweeted out. Yeah.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I don't remember his name. This guy from Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to
Bob
that.
Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, Saul?
I've been watching Dave on
Oh,
Hulu. It's a little Dickie show. It's a very good show. I have to catch up on that. And then I caught up 2 nights ago on Ted Lasso, of course. So
Yes.
those are my big ones right now.
Are you enjoying this season of Lasso, by the way?
Yeah,
I am too.
I like it a
love
lot. I don't
think
know.
it's better than season 2.
The Amsterdam
Really?
episode.
The Amsterdam
was,
episode's terrific.
I'm waiting, and I'm gonna
Tremendous.
binge it all when the hockey playoffs are over. I'm waiting.
It's
I like this last
I
episode.
like the
a
show,
lot.
but I want to be able to sit.
I
and
like
enjoy it.
this last episode a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Don't
it's-
give it away.
Okay, so Ted Lasso is it for me. Like, love. It's phenomenal. I also I just finished the season of The Mandalorian, and I gotta say, I didn't love this season.
I'm not a big fan either.
I was kind of disappointed. So I don't know if take that for what it's worth. You can watch it. It's not bad. Like, it's if you just want like a filler show, it was fine. Which sucks because I loved The Mandalorian
Filler
season.
show, I like
The
that.
Mandalorian
It's like-
season 1 is
It's convenience
amazing.
pizza of TV.
Yeah,
That's what it
the
is. I guess.
season 1 is amazing. So if you've never watched it at all, at least watch season 1. Nicholas said, not a binge, but the new Star Wars video game Jedi Survivor came out.
Heard about that from my
Weekend
kid.
Binge
Heard it
can
was
be
amazing.
anything you want it to be. Video game, book, TV.
Yeah, that came out last night.
Yeah,
late.
so that's a good one, Nicholas.
How about yard work? Does that count? No.
I
just
have
planted some
I have
new
so many
flowers.
weeds to pull. I need you to come over and
Yeah, I
help
just
me with
planted
my
flowers
backyard.
to attract butterflies. That was my project.
I
over the
get
last few days.
hummingbirds in my backyard.
Yep.
We should
Yeah,
have
got
Petey and Tara on a show.
remove
talking
some
about yard work.
cactuses.
Can I be on it so I can
Yeah,
learn?
Just learn. Just be
I've
quiet.
I never had a backyard before, or that
We
I
can
that
walk
I
out.
own, that I take care of.
As I'm cut up from all the cactuses.
I also am finally watching Drive to Survive. I'm about halfway through. Nicholas also mentioned F1, so that's always an amazing one. And then I feel like I had something else, but The Bear's on my list. The Night Agent is
You haven't
on
watched
my
The Bear
list. No.
The first season?
No, I've never watched The Bear.
It's good at TV.
I'm still watching Love Island UK because
The Bear is really good, but it's quick, digestible episodes too.
Succession, the current season of Succession is phenomenal. Watch it if you haven't. Episode 3 was like one of the best hours of television I've watched.
I got off.
Episode 3 of this season.
I'll get back on it.
It's the final season, so it's not a lot to watch. They're long episodes, but it's not a ton. But you can watch Succession as well. I think that's all I had for Weekend Binge. I've been reading a lot. I love a good thriller or mystery. So if you have any thriller mystery recommendations, tweet at me, message me in the Discord. Do you have?
A series or movies?
No, books.
Oh, books. Harlan Coben. I've told you. If you buy anything from Harlan Coben, they are the best, well-written mystery suspense books I've ever read. Edge of your seat. Did you see like Girl on a Train?
Yeah,
like
I read
those kind of books.
Yeah, that's like the genre that I love.
Harlan Coben. A regular guy or a regular woman get up in the morning and their life is not what you thought it was, and they're in just what happened, and then it's the unraveling.
I
of that
also
story.
saw
Love
that.
it. Love it.
What's it called? Black Mirror's coming back.
Oh, love.
Heck yes! Sign me up.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. So anyway, thanks everybody for their recommendations in the chat. I will now that we have nights off for the most part, I feel like I'll have more time to actually do Weekend Binge. So I will check that out. But if you're looking for some other activities on the weekends or in the evenings, check out Octane Raceway in Mavericks. Great place, especially now it's like too hot outside to do stuff during the day. This is the perfect activity for your friends, for your family, like any age. I'm telling you, it's so much fun. They have go-kart racing, laser tag. I've done all of it. Well, I didn't go-kart race. I have, but you guys did, and you did. It was a lot of fun. So they have axe throwing, arcades, and if you're not looking for any of that, or you have some people in your group who want to do that and some who don't, they have bars, they have restaurants, they have TVs. You can watch the NBA playoffs, you can watch the NHL playoffs, you can watch baseball. Like there's just always something to do at Octane. And this weekend, there's a Soul Raiders 4-on-4 VR tournament, so you can win up to $1,000.
Craig, did you enter that? I'm in. I got my
VR tournament.
Got my entry in.
So get your summer passes at Octane Raceway with, like I said, kart racing, VR, axe throwing, multiple games on axe throwing. Buy now for the best rate. And you can book a graduation party there too. It's graduation season at Octane Raceway and Mavericks. So check it out. An alternative activity I can suggest is taking some OGs and then doing whatever it is that you want, because OGs has something for any of your needs. They have indica, sativa, microdose, sleep edition.
Perfect for Coyotes fans.
Yeah, there's a lot of stressful things coming up. So make sure you get your OGs. And let me tell you, when I say the flavors are delicious, like we're not exaggerating. They're delicious. So check out OGs. You can find them at your local dispensary at ogsbrands.com. You got to be 21 or older to enjoy responsibly. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we go?
I have one thing.
Okay.
And I don't want to. I got a DM from Dustin Rayhorn, who's been following me and us for a very, very long time. I don't want to get into what he was dealing with, but just suffice to say, he was dealing with some tough health issues. And I got an unbelievable DM. I want to read it because I asked him if it would be okay to shout him out. Getting past all that stuff that he's going through. With all that being said, your podcasts and articles have been such a huge part of my recovery. When I had trouble getting out of bed and suffered from brain fog, the podcasts and articles helped my brain get its exercise. You often would make me smile and laugh in spite of everything. Your coverage really made a difference for me. I was able to meet you guys in person this season as well, and your friendly nature was so welcoming. It really made my day just talking with you about hockey. Just wanted to reach out and let you know how much I appreciate your work. You've made such a difference for me. He's back working. I don't want to get, like I said, I don't want to get into some of the stuff, but he's on the right path. I hope I can make this some diehard events in the upcoming year and maybe buy you guys a Four Peaks in appreciation.
Wow. Thank you, Dustin.
Glad to hear you're on the mend, Dustin.
Glad to hear on the mend, and
glad we helped in some little way.
Yeah, that really means a lot.
It's sometimes we get in a little vacuum and I forget we're talking to people. I know it's just no, I know, but it's really it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
cool.
Justin, we're thinking of you and excited that you're, getting back on your feet, and hopefully we'll meet you again soon. Really looking forward to it. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being here live, or if you're watching or listening after the fact, thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you can listen to us on audio as well. And while you're there, leave us a review, and be sure to subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. Big day ahead. We got the Cardinals day 2 of the draft. They did their 5-hour draft show yesterday. We've all been there, so support them. Check it out and subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. And you can follow us on Twitter at @SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePaz. Follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter. Be on that lookout for more clips from the amazing former mayor show, because they were dropping truth bombs left and right.
And we'll be dropping them through the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much.
So follow along on Twitter and in the Discord as well. And everybody, we thank you once again for being part of the family, and enjoy your weekend. And we will see everybody on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.